What is up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing here a deck profile for Vendreads. Now I did actually make the chill session video where we actually got to know about this particular deck, so if you haven't checked it out yet, please do, because that way you guys would actually understand the different explanations as to why I would actually be including certain ratios in the deck. But if you guys are already well versed enough, then let's just dive on in. Before that, I would like to remind you guys to drop a like, share, comment, and consider subscribing if you enjoyed this kind of content. That way you can be notified whenever any future content like this comes out. So without further ado, let's begin. Starting off, we're only playing one copy here of our Executor. It is an absolutely amazing card for what it is, however it serves mainly as a beat stick for the deck. Next up, we're playing here 3 copies of Slayer. Slayer is pretty much the main key card of the deck. It just does everything that we need to and functions as a really good start off to actually go for. Plus, it is actually a viable option when you're going for the pre-prep, because according to its text, it allows you to actually add this plus the Vendread Origin as well, which is definitely fantastic. Next up, we have here 2 copies of Battlelord. Arguably, you can actually bump this up to 3 copies if you wish, because this card is essentially a lockdown card that prevents your opponent from actually doing anything out there. As for the main deck monsters, we're going to be playing 1 each of all of these cards here. Hound Horde, Revenants, Striges, and we're also playing the Anima. The only card I don't actually own is the Core. So Vendread Core is also a really crucial card in this particular deck, and I would highly recommend you play 1 copy of that as well. The only reason I don't have it is, well, I don't actually have it, so I couldn't really include it in this deck. However, I am playing here 1 copy of the Upstart Goblin, so if I do get my hands on a Vendread Core, I'll switch out the Upstart Goblin for that particular core. But with that being said, I already explained it in a previous video why I'm playing only 1 copy of each of these. However, it should be pretty self-explanatory for anyone who already knows how the deck works. Now, being that this is a zombie deck, it only makes sense that we want to use the space to play cards such as 3 copies of Shirano's Solitaire. Absolutely amazing to get you started. It is a zombie deck after all, and you most likely want to open up with this card alongside a Uni-Zombie as well. Both cards are actually really amazing, helps out the deck quite a bit because it is a zombie deck. Now, given that this is a zombie deck, we're playing over here 2 copies of Mizuki, absolutely amazing, and can easily be ditched off to the graveyard via Uni-Zombie if you manage to actually draw into it. And of course, I'm also playing here the 1 copy of Gozuki. I felt that only this particular ratio worked well for these 2 particular cards, but they definitely do serve as great extenders for you to combo into higher plays. Next up, I also wanted to include here 2 copies of the Doomkig Balladrock. It's definitely a really amazing card, and to have at least 2 of them, honestly, it's worth it. We're also going to be playing alongside that the 1 copy of the Banshee. We simply just want to find a way to ditch it to the graveyard to allow us to activate the zombie world, which makes the Balladrock a lot more viable. And of course, I'm playing here the Glow Up Bloom. Now, Glow Up Bloom is actually a really amazing card in this particular deck, because not only can it actually bring out the Balladrock, but it also allows you to add your Vendread Slayer as well, which is definitely fantastic here. Of course, it could also apply for the Executor and also Battlelord, but you get the point here. It's definitely really amazing and actually has quite a lot of great synergy in this deck, so if you wanted to bump it up to 2 copies, that wouldn't be the worst option. Of course, that goes without saying that we're going to be playing here 3 copies of Ash. Luckily, we do have room to actually play some kind of disruption to go up against the opponent, and to have something like Ash is definitely a fantastic option. Now onto spells, I'm going to be playing here 3 copies of the Vendread Origin. It's just a really great card that's searchable as well, so it is something you want to see because you want to be able to pull off your ritual plays. We're also going to be playing here the 2 copies of Evolution, pretty much just an extension of Origin as well, allowing you to actually have the option to just go for more options. You basically just want to go for your ritual summons as much as possible, so to have as many of the ritual spells in an appropriate manner that it doesn't clog you up is definitely well worth it at this particular ratio. Next up, we're playing here the 3 copies of pre-prep. We just want to have consistency, and it definitely is viable. We're also going to be playing here the 1 zombie world, obviously to be activated via Banshee, but if you can draw into it, that's also okay as well. It definitely works out either way. Makes your Balladrock viable, but also is great when we're actually including it with the Super Poly in this deck as well. Speaking of which, we are playing here 2 copies of Super Poly. I did actually consider playing 3 copies, however I felt that 2 copies definitely did the job for what it is, and ultimately it does actually open up a bit of room for you guys to adjust the ratios however you want. You can bump this up to 3 if you want to, otherwise playing it at 2 is also my personal preference. And finally, for a bit of more generic support, we're playing here Monster Reborn. It's a zombie deck, so to be able to revive stuff makes sense, right? We're also playing here Caught by the Grave just to stop the opponent's hand traps, any kind of disruptions they have. And we're also playing here the Upstart Goblin. Of course, you could take that out, fill in any other card you want. In this particular case, I wanted to put in a core into the deck, so I would be taking out the Upstart Goblin for that. Now, next up for the extra deck, I'm obviously playing here the Vendread Savior, a really fantastic card for the deck. We only need 1 copy of it, so thankfully I don't have to go out searching for more of these. Also playing here a Vampire Sucker, works really well, works really nicely, and only 1 copy will definitely suffice for the deck. Also playing over here an Abomination. You could play any Link 4 you actually want to, just wanted to have at least 1 kind of boss monster to go into. To get into that, we're going to go with the Ip Masquerina. Of course, with that, we are also playing here the Unicorn, because you go into Ip Masquerina, you pass your turn, and during your opponent's turn, you go into your Unicorn, great disruption. Next up, I'm playing here the 1 Cerberus, the 1 Phoenix. We're also playing here an Anima because ironically, we actually have an Anima in this deck, but it's the Vendread version, and they happen to be the same level as well, so you could link away the Vendread Anima for a relinquished Anima. Definitely fantastic, but it is an option I leave there for any level 1 cards I actually have for the deck. That includes the Glow of Bloom as well. Of course, I'm also playing here the Anaconda to go into our fusion monsters. Now as for some synchros, it is actually a possibility for us to go into it since we are playing Unizombie. So a Shogun Saga, we're playing here Void Ogre Dragon, and I'm also playing here the Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. All are really fantastic options, all are just really great, and they definitely suit this deck really well. And finally, for the Super Poly targets, I'm going to be playing here an Almaduke, a Mud Dragon, and also a Starving Venom. Now, there is 1 card I don't have yet, and I am still definitely searching for it. However, if I did have it, then I'll definitely include it in this deck. That card happens to be the Drag Necro Zombie Dragon. It is a really difficult card to find, so because of that, I'm still definitely on a hunt for it. But once I have it, I'll probably take out the Armaduke and put in the Drag Necro Dragon. It is definitely fantastic because when you have your zombie world, you're forcing your opponent's monsters to just become zombie monsters. So when you use your Super Poly to go into your Drag Necro, it just works out so well. Drag Necro is much easier to go into in that circumstance over the Almaduke, which requires 3 Link monsters instead. So it is definitely up to you. It is mainly just as a beat stick, but it still offers you quite a great amount of versatility out there as well. As the Almaduke does have its limiting restrictions that hinders the deck in some sort of manner. So this is pretty much it for today's deck profile, so I do hope you guys actually enjoyed this. Definitely leave me some suggestions as to what changes you might make to this particular deck. I'm open to hearing everyone's opinions. However, with that being said, I do thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you all next time.